Today we're going to be starting our primary and secondary paintings, and we are going to paint lines across our paper using only the primary colors. I'd like you to start with your lightest color, yellow, and you're just going to take a little bit of paint on it, and then you want to decide what kind of line you would like to draw. So I'm going to be painting a vertical line. A vertical line goes from top to bottom and is straight. And I want my lines to start and stop on the edge of the paper. So I'm going to go to the very top. I'm going to set my brush down, and I'm going to pull it across. Now you can see how my line is a little bit wiggly. I can go back in and paint it one more time to try to fill in those spots. You might have to add a little more paint to your brush. So now I have one line that is yellow, that is vertical. Now I'm going to try to paint another line. This time I'm going to do a zigzag, and I'm going to go from one side to the other. When you are painting a zigzag line, you want to be careful to make sure that you stop and start in a V so it doesn't seem like it's turning into a curved line. If you're not careful with your brush, it will appear to be curved instead of pointed. And remember, a zigzag line is angled, so it's like a bunch of V's connected, or Z's. And you can make them small or big, however you would like to. Just remember to start and stop on one of the edges. And maybe I don't go quite to the other side. Notice how I'm dipping often. I'm not trying to put my brush down really hard on the paper. I'm using light pressure, and I'm working my way across the paper. Now, if you're having trouble reaching like I am, you can turn your paper to make your life a little bit easier. Oh, this one really high. And now I've made it to the side. Now in art we have another type of line that is called a curved line. So this time I'm going to try to do a curved line, and I'll maybe make it from top to bottom. Now I want to think about the spaces that I'm creating. With my two lines, I now have 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. And I don't want my spaces to get too small because then they are difficult to paint. So I'm going to do a curved line, but I'm going to turn it sideways so it's a little bit easier for me. And I'm just going to do a wavy up and down, up and down. I'll go back over my line. Just trying to make it a little bit more consistent in thickness. Maybe get a little bit more paint. And again, stopping and starting on the edge. Now I have 3 lines that are yellow. My next job is to make 3 lines that are red. In order to change to red, I have to make sure I clean out my brush. I tap it on the bottom of the container, and then I want some paper towel to squeeze out all the water and to check and make sure that my brush is clean. And now I will start with some red paint. And I still need a horizontal line, so I think I'll make a red horizontal line that goes all the way across the paper. Now you're going to come to your other colors. You have 2 choices. When I get to the yellow, I can stop and hop over. So I'm going to stop this one and hop over and continue on this side. Or you could paint right over the other line that you painted. So you can decide how you want to do that. So now I have 1 red line. I need 2 more. Let's see, another type of line we have is called a broken line. And that is where you're using dots or dashes to draw a line. And I'm going to maybe make a diagonal dotted line, dashed line with red. And I'll start up here And I will go to the other side of the paper, starting on an edge. Maybe here I'll doing my best to make it straight. This one I'm going a little bit thicker, so I have to paint sort of my line twice. It's almost like I'm painting little rectangles. I want to make sure I get all the way to the edge. I need one more line out of red. I'm going to look where my biggest spaces are, and I'm going to try to divide those in half. So this shape is kind of big and this shape is kind of big. So I also don't want to go over my red already. So I'm going to do a spiral. A spiral is where you make sort of like loops with your paintbrush. And this takes a little bit longer. To do a nice job. If you notice, I'm going halfway and then picking up my brush and finishing on the other with the other one. You want to be careful not to put your fingers in the paints you already have. This is a fuzzy line, so I want to go back and dip my brush and make that a solid color with more paint. I'll make this one go a little bit further into this space here. And maybe one more loop. Oops. Brush went a little funny, so I'm going to have this part be a little bit thicker to fix that. And off the paper. You want to check for fuzzies. This one's a little bit rough over here. I want to have nice clean edges, so I'm going to go back and try and fix that up. Might end up being a little bit wider, but that's okay. We really want to work on smooth edges. That's showing brush control when we paint. And then finally, one more time of cleaning out my brush. I'm going to do 3 lines with blue.